Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the conclusions. Another chilling session of the conclusions. And you see, we have something new. No, because I'm always wanting to try something new. Because yeah, I'm a problem that way. so this is a Mila note. I'm using this to try to find a new way to present information that's probably interesting to you. And let's go through the frontline changes, not frontline changes, some of the major frontline actions happening across Ukraine. You can see all the different front lines, all pointed out. And you can see this is the Kursk front, which is over here. And then in the south, you can actually have like the Pokrov front, the Andriivka front, the Velika Novosibirsk front. Every single front line have its own story. And it's really hard to cover such a big war. And probably a lot of casual viewers like you don't really care or you are unable to follow the war because it's just so complicated. So much things happening. So this is why we need to know the front. Like this chain of fronts around here, you can see is actually 4 different fronts. Borova front, Liman front, and Sivas front. You can see all, but you can see the all have their own story. Borova front also. Borova front itself have its own thing. Liman front have its own thing. Sivas front have its own thing. Bakhmut front have its own thing. They all have different stories. So I just thought it's important to go through, and I'm not sure if this format is sustainable or maybe it's interesting or not. We shall explore and try and see how this goes. And of course, the big news in the pro-Russian sphere, the pro-Ukrainian sphere, they don't really want to talk about it that much. It's over at the Kursk front. However, it's not the main Kursk front. It's actually in the southern part. So you can see this area here. This area is this area. So this is even further south from the main Kursk front. Over at this area, further south is actually here. So in this is where the Ukrainians actually tried to attack the Russians across the border, while the Putin and Trump talk is actually happening. The Ukrainian forces tried to go for Demidovka, Grafovka, Gravovka, as well as Pelese, and the Ukrainian forces did try to attack. And there are of course this area here where the Ukrainian forces actually did enter into the Russian territory. It was geolocated, so this is real. However, the official Ukrainian narrative right now is this did not happen. I was like, huh? So they said this did not happen. This is not real. This is Russian propaganda. So okay, so it becomes a Russian propaganda. But it is noted by DPA based on Russian information that this indeed happened. We have geolocation to prove it. So yeah, maybe it's not that big. Maybe they just happen to patrol their territory into the Russian territory accidentally. I don't know. So this is what happened. The Russian Defense Ministry gave a long information about it. But this is the thing. But however, this operation, because it failed, so it never happened. Yeah. So that's basically the conclusion for that thing. The Russians are still basically stuck at Sudzha region. According to some of you guys have been commenting, Patrick Lancaster is on the ground, I heard. And the information is that there is still many Ukrainian forces that's trapped within Sudzha and in the rear positions. As such, the Russians are unable to really push very hard in the front lines, which is why there's still so much clearing operations currently happening in Sudzha. Generally speaking, the Russians are pushing for Gogolevka, Oleshnya, Gornau, and Guyevo. Yeah, someone in the comments forced me to pronounce it as Guyevo. He said this is not Spanish nor English. Yeah. So and then the Russians also have their presence in Basivka, inside Sumy, and similarly the Ukrainian official position is that the Russians is not inside the Sumy region. So you can take it whatever it is, but the Russians definitely is geolocated in Basivka, and they are not geolocated once. Like they are geolocated more than once. And even the Russian Defense Ministry did announce the capture of Nobanke. So yeah, so believe whatever propaganda you prefer. Uh, yeah, but that is what the current situation we are reporting as in the current situation in the Kursk front. So yeah, this is what it is. Some other major things that's happening is let's go to thorax. So this is thorax front. You can see that there is Alexandropole on its own thing. There's a own thing here. However, this is a small thing. This is a small thing. It's not important. What is more bigger is actually the battle around thorax and whatnot. So in the thorax front, there is some major interesting developments where the Russians. So let's go to this map, which is a bit bigger, where the Russians have broke out into the north of Krimsky, which is over here, and they have also pushed up north of Druzhba over here. And they have also been geolocated, breaking through across the canal and taking some strong positions in the south of Ozyarenivka, which is over here. So the Russians are now pushing in 3 different directions in this area here. And on top of that, we have previously that the Russian Defense Ministry said that they have captured Dashne, which is where we have this grayish dotted line to show that there's a possibility that the Russians are there. So if you look at this situation, this looks like the front line have cracked in this northern part of thorax. Of course, this is very still in the early stage. If this front line indeed have collapsed, we'll probably see more frontline changes in the next few days. Perhaps within the next 12 hours, I will be reporting new frontline changes on top of all this, but or next 24 hours. But things is looking quite bad in this sector because we have 3 different areas of frontline changes all within the same sector. This area here is actually the south of the Bakhmut front. This is south of the Bakhmut front. This is the thorax sector of the thorax front. So there is a potential north thorax collapse that we might witnessing. We might witness, and then a potential front line after the collapse might look something like this, with the battle be happening at Dilievka. So if the collapse do happen, so this is a pretty nervy situation, because as much as the pro-Ukrainian side is very accurate in their mapping, they are claiming this. No, they are claiming there's a gray zone of a place over inside of thorax, where they have troops were geolocated inside here, inside in the middle of thorax. However, and the position is that the thorax situation is very dynamic. The people are changing positions all the time. Both sides have troops inside of thorax, and there's no a lot. It's just entirely a gray zone, largely. But then, instead of the Russians trying to secure thorax, we are now seeing the Russians now pushing out in the other areas, and interestingly north of Krimsky, which is effectively also north of thorax. This is very unusual if the city is not secured. You get what I mean, right? So this is a bit of a weird situation here. So we will definitely have to monitor this no potential north thorax collapse. This is a real situation. And then we have another big thing. Okay, this is the 2 biggest thing. Some other places that I think worth watching is over in the Voreshna front. This is the Voreshna front. Voreshna is over here. This is Voreshna. This Liman Pershi, Sinkivka, and further south is actually Kupiansk, in case you're not sure. And the current latest information is that the Russians are pushing for Monashenivka, Malashakivka, Rakivka, and of course, usually we have Holubivka under attack as well. So this is something that I drew additional just to show the recent fighting in this area here. The Ukrainians did, of course, as I mentioned in the Frontline Changes report, take some grounds back from the Russian claims. They didn't change the front line on both sides, only on the Russian mapping. but the fighting being reported here continues. So this might be something of a concern, something to watch on. That previously there were fighting in the north, further up north from this area here, which is not mapped, not presented here. So something to look out for. At the Liman front, we have the some actions are happening around here. You can see through the arrows the strategic situation that's developing. In the Nevsky region, we have the frontline change, and then we have the Russians now pushing in this direction westward. So that's some change. In these front lines here, frontline changes are rare. It's not common to see the frontline changes, and when they do happen, it's all quite small. This one at Nevsky is actually pretty big, so this is something interesting to watch out. And over in the Borova front as well, there is some actions. Interestingly, of course, is the fighting at Shikivka, or at least towards Shikivka. And the Russians did previously claim to have captured Kopanki around here. So the front line may look different here. The Russians are attacking multiple locations. So the main push is still coming from the north. This is still the main one. But there's something to look out for if you are just casually watching Ukraine war stuff. And Pokrov front, just some update. This is how it looks like strategically across the entire front line. The Russians are pushing multiple places. This line here, this is what I call the Milokrad sector. As far as the northern sector is generally going to be quite static, generally speaking. The Russians' main attention is this northern part and the southern part. So this is the Pokrov sector. This northern part is the Pokrov sector, where the Russians are pushing out in all directions. Mainly, they really want to push out towards the westward, and securing Shevchenko, as well as pushing out towards the border through Udashny, and perhaps break out towards the north. This is most likely the main directions. The Russians are also trying to push towards the westward in the southern flank. So zoom in a bit. They're trying to secure Yasinove. They're going to want to push westward towards Bodanivka, Preobrazhenka, Kolyalivka, all generally in the westerly direction. So that's the Pokrov situation. Just strategically, generally, this is what it is almost every single day. Not much frontline changes happening in the recent times in the Pokrov front, which is why on the pro-Ukrainian side they are saying that things have stabilized over in Ukraine and in the front lines. So this is what they mean by the things have largely secured. Andriivka front, we have some interesting changes. This is actually one of the more major ones, where the Russian forces geolocated here, and this I did mention in the frontline changes report and also in the SIBREP, that potentially the Russians could have a more advanced position south of Constantinople. Ukrainian forces have taken in some grounds into the center of Constantinople, as well as counterattack towards Andriivka. And the fact that there is these things does shows us a little bit, because we still have the Ukrainians talking about Oleksievka, or the Russians, I forget who. So which means that the Russians can't possibly doing a northern flanking operations like this. It looks like the operation towards Oleksievka is probably along the highway towards Oleksievka, as the Ukrainians are the one doing the northern flanking operation due to the geolocation here and the frontline changes inflicted. And the Ukrainians are attacking into Constantinople into the center. So this is the interesting development here. Of course, in the south of this position is the potential frontline changes that is like this, because the geolocation is this part, so I can only change this part in the north. In the south, there's a question mark. So that's something to note. Of course, we have to map it more conservatively. If not, we'll be like too ahead of ourselves. So that's something to note of. I think other than that, if you are interested in the Velikan Novosilka front, this is another story. Like I said, every front have its own story. At the Velikan Novosilka front, the story now mainly is the Russians are going for Bulatske, Privene, Venipole, and basically this sector. that they are trying to push, as the Russians are trying to take control or get rid of the enemies from these two areas so that they can form a much stronger front line. But the Ukrainians are doing very well because these twin towns are just very good together, and the Russians are now doing a southern flanking operation to try to cut off into the rear, like cut it off like this. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do right now. So this is happening because without this area, the Russians may be overextending themselves if they continue to push up north, which were what they were trying to do earlier. They were trying to push towards Vasily, and but this push also doesn't seem to work out, maybe because of the Ukrainian defense line here. So that's the current situation in this sector. So yeah, and of course we haven't even put in the Zaporizhia front into this area here, where the Russian Zaporizhia offensive is currently ongoing. In this area here, in here, the Russian Zaporizhia offensive is still ongoing. So there's a lot of stories. So it's hard to tell all the different stories in a very consistent, flowing manner, because there's just so many things, so many front line, and there's only so much airtime you can have on YouTube on a single day basis. So I'm trying to find the best way to tell the stories of the different fronts, but it's just not easy. So, and I have to report daily because I map daily, and if I map and I don't report, then I'm wasting my time. So yeah, so that's all the things happening. Some other major news. So these are some of the things that I want to cover next. One of these interesting ones actually was shared to me. This by UNIAN Union is a Ukrainian website, and is interesting is that this is a story about the Kursk front from the Ukrainian perspective. The Ukrainians, and basically they are quoting BBC. The Ukrainian soldiers are telling BBC that the situation was for them in the Kursk front was like a horror movie. They were retreating under heavy fire, and they are losing a lot of vehicles from Russian drones. So on the March 9, one of the fighters was still in Sudzha, and then there was panic and collapse of the front. So they are trying to leave a column of troops and equipment. Some were burned by drones, and then it's impossible to leave during the day. So but then he said that it was all under enemy fire. The main road of Sudzha to Sumy, there's drones around the clock. In 1 minute, you can see 2 or 3 drones, and that's a lot. So that is anecdote of the superior military situation the Russians were in versus the Ukrainians in the Kursk front. So, and the March 11 retreat is catastrophic for him. And then they say that the Ukrainians used to have advantage in drones. Now they don't have it. And the Russians have also more precise airstrikes and more troops as well. And the supply routes were blocked. So logistics no longer work. There's no longer deliveries of weapon, ammunition, food, and water. And then they decided to leave on foot. They say that he and his guys almost died several times. Drones were in the sky all the time. And so he also predict that the entire bridgehead in the Kursk region will be lost, but he said from a military point of view, the Kursk direction has exhausted itself. There's no point in holding him anymore, which is exactly what I said, that the Kursk front has basically run its course as well. There's basically no more strategy and military value. You can't bargain with Russia with that 4 towns. That 4 towns we talked about. Like, you can't bargain with these 4 towns. The Russians will just say that, yeah, try to hold it. No, we'll take it ourselves. So this is not a bargaining chip. So that is the current the situation for the Kursk front. So yeah, what else do we have? So this is basically just some anecdotes from Russia, from Ukrainian soldiers, which is very, very shocking to see the Ukrainian media talking in this way. Some negative ways which I never expected the Ukrainians would report on. So, but of course he's quoting BBC, but still you can don't talk about it, right? No. And anyway, the original article is in Ukrainian. So this is talking to themselves. This is Ukrainian media reporting to Ukrainians. And they are basically trying to tell the truth, which is, like I said, shocking. And as per this refresh, is 169,000 views. So that's a lot of views, right? So no thanks. So and of course, the other big news this recently, the past 48 hours, is Trump and Putin having a super long phone call. They basically spoke so long that I thought that it's lovers chatting with each other, but they did get something. At least Trump is trying to get something out of the talk, and he managed to get something. Not much, but it's something nevertheless. They managed to get a very, very, very small but limited ceasefire. But this ceasefire is simply the agreement not to hit energy and infrastructure facilities for 30 days. And to allow safe passage of Ukrainian ships along the Black Sea. So this is limited. This is almost like the Russians decided to, okay, I shall not use the whip to whip you anymore for now. But they're still fighting, right? Generally, they're still fighting. So the Putin basically say that they will immediately give the order to do this, and but they will still continue to talk more. So the first, Putin listed a lot of demands, including ending of military and intel aids to Ukraine. Clearly, this is not going to happen. They will continue to give it to the Ukrainians because this is, if the Western side agree to it immediately, then they don't know how to do deals. So Zelenskyy welcomed the ceasefire on the energy infrastructure, and he said that he will talk to Trump soon, and I can confirm that the talk has already happened between Trump and Zelenskyy. So I will share it with you in the next article after this. So Zelenskyy is quite worried though, because every time Trump and Putin talk is out of his control, and he immediately spoke to the French president, the German chancellor, and to press them, not to cut off military aid to Ukraine. So they say that Zelenskyy tell the reporters they are in constant communications with the partners and to make sure that there's no betrayal. He said that he's confident that there will be no betrayal from the partners and the assistance will continue. So I'm also sure that the Europeans will continue to give aid to Ukraine for at least 1 year. That's what I predicted, that the war will go on for another 1 year. And basically the Europeans will continue to do that because they are overcommitted, so they have no choice. So yeah, so this is what's happening. Trump just said that it's a good phone call as usual. They always a good phone call. So they will continue to talk more. And Putin also agreed to release 23 severely wounded Ukrainian soldiers, which is funny because I find that why don't you give them back someone healthy? No, they basically give them back the severely wounded ones. Then the Ukrainians would have to deal with it. They will have 23 more injured soldiers to deal with, that they have to give up hospital space for it. Like I find this a bit insidious. The giving of the 23 severely wounded soldiers is like, shouldn't you just cure them and heal them enough so that it will be healthy, a bit more healthy to be transferred? I'm not sure. It's a bit. So I'm not sure how they're going to transfer the severely wounded soldiers as well. So basically, Putin said that the key condition should be the complete cessation of foreign military aid and the provision of military intel to Kiev. So he said that this is the main way to prevent the escalation of the conflict and towards a resolution. But clearly, this is going to be very difficult to happen. This is not going to happen. As you can see, Zelenskyy immediately called his partners to no, you cannot cut it off. So yes, this is something. And and the Ukrainian and the American and the Russians will immediately continue their work together in Saudi Arabia. They say that the technical teams will meet in Saudi Arabia in Riyadh and to focus on implementing and expanding the partial ceasefire that Trump has secured from Russia. So this is very positive. I would say it's not positive if you are pro-Ukraine. Like, this is definitely not a good pro-Ukraine situation. Because I know pro-Ukrainians just want the war to continue and they want to win the war. If the war were to end, it must be a Russian defeat. And my answer to you is it's not going to happen. Like, your wish is always going to not happen. But this is good in the sense that they are working actively to try to find the common ground in order to have a real peace. This is what I'm excited about. I want the war to end. I want people to stop dying in this stupid war, because the war is literally stupid. There is no meaning. This war is very meaningless. So yeah, so let's hope this goes on. But yeah, they are already immediately trying to do it, and so there will be an immediate ceasefire on the attacks on energy infrastructure. So Zelenskyy and Trump spoken after the call with Putin. Trump seems to be reporting to his boss, after talking to Putin, or then after he immediately calls Zelenskyy, hey boss, I've just spoken to Putin. That's the kind of feeling that I get. But so they have spoken to Zelenskyy. So basically, yeah, he just said that it's on track. The conclusion of the phone call is that it's on track. He said that the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor will provide more details in a statement. But generally, he just telling Zelenskyy what was being spoken and what Putin have asked and everything. I think so. In details, I'm quite sure they have the technical teams to talk to Zelensky's team. So I don't think Trump is that level of detail orientated, but basically he's talking on macro terms. So and then Zelenskyy told reporters in Finland. Oh, so now he's in Finland. Okay, so that he said that even when Putin was talking to Trump, despite Putin said that he give order to stop the strike on Ukrainian targets, 150 drones hit energy infrastructure, transport, and 2 hospitals. So he said Putin's words are very different from reality, and clearly this is one hell of a hypocrite, because the Ukrainians also launched strike on Russian energy, and they also, like I said, tried to launch an attack into the Russian territory. So this is one hell of a hypocrite. Yeah. So like, yeah, this is horrendous. And yeah, so basically the Europeans felt very, very left out. Like, it's so funny. They just tried. They must have some comments to show that they are still important. Like the Finnish president talk about, yes or no, but no conditions. No, he said that there must be no conditions. No, the peace must be in no conditions. Yeah, he's dreaming. Where got deal there's no conditions, but every deal has condition. Like, even I ask you to press the subscribe button or press the like button, the condition is that I will continue to do good videos or good reporting for you guys, right? So there's always conditions. No. So then the condition that if you don't press the like button and subscribe, then I will end up die out on YouTube, and I will not get revenues, and I will not do videos. Then we all lose together. So there's always conditions. So this is talking nonsense. So what else? We have also Kaja Kallas, which is the most funny thing. So she's being called the European Union's top diplomat. I'm not sure how is she even qualified to be that position, but yeah, she is terribly left out, because she's like the head of diplomacy or something for EU, and no one give a damn about her. No one want to talk to her, and basically she have to say something that if no military aid to Ukraine is achieved, then the Russians are free to continue and the Ukrainians cannot defend themselves. So yeah. So then he said that Europeans must be at the table to approve it. He said for this agreement to work, the implementation must be in European hands. Yeah. I don't know. I just find it funny. Like they really should have found someone else that is more respected, honestly, to be the top diplomat. But of course, this is my own personal view. If you feel offended, press the like button and subscribe, and so that you can comment and tell me, yeah, you disagree. So yeah, but what I want to share the real reality from the Ukrainian side, and this Ukrainian commander of the second assault battalion of the third separate assault brigade, Dmitro Kuchachuk, this guy, he basically spelled it very bluntly, the real Ukrainian position. The real Ukrainian position is that as long as Russia exists, so will its ambition, and then when Russia is gone, there will be someone else. So that's the Ukrainian position, and I think this is very true for the nationalists, the ultra nationalists, even the nationalist Ukrainians. I believe that this is basically their position, and all the Ukrainians that are really believe in their cause in the fighting against the Russians. They really believe that they are defending Ukraine. They really believe that Russia is evil or aggressive. This is really their view. This is definitely their view. And he said that the Russian aggression isn't something that will disappear overnight. So he said that even if there is ceasefire and calm, the Russian agents will continue to work to sway by them and make them believe that they are brotherly nations. He said that this all happened before and will happen again. So basically, he's trying to say that no, Russia will continue to try to pull Ukraine into the sphere of influence of Russia. Which I wonder why, I wonder why. Why would Russia want to, expand its sphere of influence over a country that most of them speak Russian, which is just next to them? Yeah, somehow, it's perfectly fine for Ukraine to, instead of, sticking close to the people who speak the same language and have the same culture, and try to be brotherly nations with people that is totally not brotherly with them. There is no gaming them and giving them weapons and ammunition in trickles and cause them to lose most of their army and now have to fight a losing battle. I wonder, yeah, that must be the right choice to do. That must be so much wiser. Anyway, what this is true, best defense is strength. But however, Ukraine, you will never get enough strength to fight with Russia. So unless you have nuclear weapon, that's a different story altogether. So he said that the only alternative is a strong Ukraine, and a Ukraine so strong that Russia wouldn't want to attack. And he said that even this is temporary. So he's talking nonsense. He's talking nonsense. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, then he says the sooner people understand this and prepare militarily in all areas, the more likely they will achieve some form of security for future generations. If all this fighting is for some security, why not you just surrender and you also at least achieve some security? If the end point is always only some, just a little bit, it doesn't matter if you fight or surrender, because you're gonna get some security regardless. It's just the only difference is the color of the flag that you are singing and the song, the national anthem that you are singing, and whether you can say Slava Ukraini or not. So anyway, this is it. This is the conclusions. I wonder if it's chilling. I find it like not very chill. I try to be chill. Sometimes I get a bit, but anyway. So let me know what you think in the comment in this newish way of conclusions, rather than we look at a stupid map again, because the map, this map, like we always look at this map, it's like a bit or too like, maybe like this is a bit more interesting because all the arrows is already drawn. I don't have to draw it again. that we can just talk. So let me know what you think in the comments. I will if you like this, and I also continue. I will try to continue to do this experiment. Yeah, I'm not sure how painful it is for me to to update this. Let's see how this goes. Well, let me know what you think. Comment clearly. If you watch longer, there will be more views, and if there's more views, there's more convincing of me to carry on. But let's see. Let's see. No obligation on you guys who are already watching. But subscribe. Check the link below. Check the subscription button below. Make sure you are subscribed, because YouTube always unsubscribe you secretly. And so thank you for watching. Subscribe. We'll reach 100,000 soon with your support, and I'll see you guys in the next update.